I just met Nicholas today for the first time officially, but we've said hey. Mike brought a friend, and then Mike ditched him. So, but Nicholas didn't quit on us. He came back anyway. So. Hey, well, I know Lowry's new, Dr. H and Jillian. So 1 Million Cups is a Kauffman Foundation program. We've been putting it on for just over 10 years now. Joel was asking me this morning because today is our last day at Underbelly. Yeah. Yeah, I was waiting for some sound effects. So big round of applause for Underbelly for having us. We moved over. Anthony was over at Woodbine. He's been growing his business, and he said, hey, I've got a ton of space. You're welcome to come use it. And it's a great space. He's filled it up with people. And they're like, move your shit out, because we've got like 60 people working out of here on Monday next week. And so Nexus IT, Earl is great. He's a good friend of mine. I was busting his chops over it. I said, can we stay? He said, I'd love for you to stay, truly, because Earl sponsors a ton of events, sports entrepreneurship. He's always around. So if you don't know Earl and Nexus, they're really great. And they're so great they have a ton of people. So us messing up their parking lot and filling up this space would disrupt his business quite. So although it would be fun to stay because it's a really great space, and Anthony and his team are really awesome. We're a little sad to go, but Wednesday comes every week, and I warned Anthony early, like, it becomes a lot sometimes. So thank you, Anthony, for having us. Thank you for sharing your wonderful, beautiful space with us. And the universe always sort of shows up. I started casually looking for a place, and our friend Joel said, have you found one yet? And I said, no, the people that wanted us to come over haven't really got back to us. I was sick. They were sick. It kind of was a thing. And a friend of ours and Joel are working on a place really close by. And I made a map, I think. I'll go back to the community guidelines here in a sec. Oh, I'm skipping ahead. But everybody's asked me about it. So good news is we're moving, but we're not moving far. This is the park outside, and we're just going to the other side of the street. So lots of parking. I don't have to move stuff super far. So Cucina Toscana is going to be where we're at. Nobody's in there in the morning, so it's not disruptive. You won't be. There's plenty of parking, especially it's street parking, but it's free 2 hour in most of the spots. And because it's early in the morning, should be wide open. Lots of parking. Should be a great space. We'll figure it out, just like we do every time. So thanks to Joel for connecting me and Ken and helping make it work. We're excited to have a new spot. It's got some beautiful glass windows and all sorts of stuff, and you can get the smells of the food and all sorts of things. They're going to try to run some fun experiments. So I'll let Joel talk a little bit about it, and then also an update on our dear friend Rod. So
it's amazing what this guy's done over the decade plus for the community. Please give Rod a big hand. Rob, rather. When you enter to Cucina Toscana next week, there are 2 doors here on the south side. You'll want to go into the right-hand door, which will give us access into that area, and where the glass is at 3rd South and 3rd West. This space is also going to be turned into kind of a guest for ghost kitchens, and we're going to plan on having it adopting some of the things that we've done before over at Trolley Square and up at Zion's Bank and that type of thing. So not moving much. You're going up there, and we will make sure that we pay homage to you, sir. Please. I just got off the phone with Rod's wife, who happens to be my cousin, so he's been burdened with me for over 40 years. Yeah, absolutely. You have no idea how true that is. He's doing okay. He's been released out of critical care. That happened in the last 3-4 days. He has found in the hospital there at St. Mark's a therapeutic situation that specializes in the brain center and the memory center, in being able to have him come back from where he's at. He's been a huge supporter for this community and the things that he's done. But it looks like there's nothing that indicates he won't have a full recovery. The type of things, cognitive dissonance, everything, have been, medicated after multiple surgery and everything else. But I have no reason to report anything else. That he'll be going home sometime soon. He'll be in the typical recovery of both muscular and neuro recovery. But it looks like he's going to be cool. So with that, here you go. Thanks. See you next week.
yeah. Exciting. Good news. The restaurant is still there. Yes. Ooh. Yeah, it's a cornerstone of Salt Lake. It's been there a long time. Yeah. So part of the history now, right? We're going to be part of it. Bringing some freshness back. For those that don't know, community guidelines, essentially we ask that people be kind. That's the thing that I ask anyway. I sent a almost kind email yesterday that was like the most unkind thing I did. It was mostly just being direct, right? So like I have to try really hard to not be kind sometimes. This place is pretty easy. People are presenting big ideas and doing things, so ask good questions. We're here to help, right? This is a give first type community. So Joel's here, so every time Joel's here, I try to remind him not to throw up the softballs because sometimes those are less than helpful. The mean well, right? That's the hard part, is like we all mean well, but sometimes not asking hard questions is actually trickier for the person than it is to ask a real question that makes a difference, right? So it feels awkward sometimes, but part of our growth is pushing through that awkward and trying new things. So welcome to it. Take turns. Sometimes we get real excited about the questions we're asking. We have some great folks online that are joining us thanks to Jake and our friends at miingl. So we've got a whole hybrid audience. How many people we got in the audience hybrid today? 5. All right. And Jake's been working on stuff. You used to see a little bar up here and made the screen smaller. He's been upgrading and figuring a bunch of stuff out. So now we can see the whole screen, but I miss seeing our friends online because usually I can see. There they are. Hey, look. Steve's here. Larissa's here. So thanks for joining us online, y'all. And look how quick and easy that was. Well done, Jake. So if you don't know miingl, you can go to Product Hunt and give him an upvote. He's doing hybrid and virtual events in a way that nobody else is doing. Super cool. He's been pitching and getting all sorts. You can get a free trial. So anyway, thanks, Jake and miingl. And then last but not least, our last March sponsorship for the month is Motta Financial. So our friend Steve, he's got some friends that aren't here in Salt Lake, but they are doing work for small businesses. So the pitch is, if your CPA is just okay, or you don't have one, but if they're just okay, you should hit these guys up because they're young, trying to be really forefront people on the CPA side and really push tax strategy and help. And the plus side is, if you do your business taxes with them, they'll, as long as they're not too complicated, do your personal ones for free. So I've got an intro already because my CPA is okay. That's not always good enough, so we're going to check out Motta, and then if you want an intro, Steve can hook you up. Thank you. Our online folks you can't get the plug without it.
Yeah, for anyone online. They're big 4 CPAs that got sick of doing that, and they wanted to help out small businesses and individuals with somewhat complex taxes. You know, if you got just a straightforward W-2, you can reach out to them. They'll probably be like, you know, I'll show you how to do it yourself. You know, we're not going to charge you any money. But if you have anything somewhat complex, or you start a new business, you want to figure it out, they do not only taxes, bookkeeping, financial advisory stuff and whatnot, but it's tax season. So that's what everyone's thinking about. But happy to sponsor.
I'll definitely say I've actually reached out to them, talked to a few of the team members. It's been amazing so far. They got back to me pretty quick and already like on the road to getting it done.
Awesome. That's great. I have not followed up on the reach out yet because I've been busy, but I promise to. I already extended I did some of my taxes, but extended the rest. Okay. Up first, Brady was ready and pumped and ready to go last week. And I said, just kidding, next week. So thank you for being flexible on that. Lowry, Dr. H is our second presenter, and we're not going to live stream record his, and so we're going to have it go second, but we are going to do this for Brady and have it recorded. So let's give Brady a big round of applause with CoPlay.
Thanks, Rob. Cool. I guess just wanted to start out, give a big shout out to Rob and Oz for doing this. it's awesome to have like a support group to come to. Everyone knows how like difficult it can be to start a business. So thanks, guys. So to just give you guys kind of the background, a couple years ago, I started volunteering at Primary Children's Hospital, and kind of started to get to feel for how things work over there. And I met a guy. His name is Chuck, and he's like 65 years old from Boston, like really kind of an aggressive dude, but like heart of gold. And he was trying to solve this problem they were having there. They had the best that they could offer for the kids that had to stay there was a DVD player in their room, and they would have to go check out these DVDs from like the nurses station. And this was only a couple years ago. And that's like if you were stuck at the hospital, that's what you had to do for your entertainment. And Chuck hated this. He thought it was like there's so many better ways that, you know, we can help these kids be entertained and enjoy their stay. And so what he did is he like rammed through this initiative to get a gaming console, an Xbox, and put it in every single patient's room they had at Primary Children's. And he got a lot of pushback, but he's like, I'm telling you, he's a very aggressive dude. He made this happen. And once they got it in there, they started realizing that there were these issues where kids would come in and they would play games. They would, you know, add family members and play some games with them, and then they would leave information on these consoles, like personal health information or like identifying information. And the only way that you could really fix that is if you went into the room, like a nurse had to do it. They had to literally pick up the controller, like navigate through all the menus, like press delete and stuff. And it was just like kind of a nightmare, honestly. And it was pretty clear that these consoles like were not at all set up for use in like an enterprise setting, like let alone like a regulated enterprise setting. So this kind of all went down while I was volunteering there, and I met another guy who was a volunteer, and we looked at this and we thought like this is a solvable problem. There are tools that exist that help you manage some of this, but it's not really meant. It's one-to-one. Like you download an app on your phone and you can do something with like one account or one device. But I looked at that and knew we could tweak this and we could make it like a device manager, like enterprise device management for these gaming consoles. So we started CoPlay. Some of the huge pain points that people have when they're trying to like stand up a program like this in a children's hospital is creating the users, like setting up the consoles, managing the privacy and the data across them, and then wiping it when a patient checks out is kind of the big thing. And then managing like what gets installed, what games do you want like the kids to play, what games do you not want them to play, and you want to keep an eye kind of on what they're doing and make sure that they're staying safe. Purchasing and managing like subscriptions stuff is also a big problem. Again, these are all systems that are really only set up to work like one-to-one, one-to-many, not in enterprise environments. So we created fleet management software for gaming consoles. Kind of it's a niche for sure, but our flagship product is, we call it CoPlay XM. With this, you can, with all of your accounts, all of your consoles, you can aggregate them to one place, and you can basically manage everything that's going on. You can link the devices. You can wipe any conversations. Like if they went and added their Uncle Bob, you can go in and just reset everything on these devices. So we have a little trailer here. What's this? What's that? We can skip it. I feel like you guys probably got the gist of it so far, but it's like a pretty... It is. It's actually about to get a little rowdy, guys. Uh-oh.
Shy from consoles, keeping games, apps, accounts, and settings consistent in every room? and blocking unwanted communication with strangers while still giving them access to play and talk to friends and family online. We at CoPlay wanted to fix this, so we built CoPlay XM, the first ever gaming console management solution. And here's how it works. First, we work with your team to build what we call loadouts for your gaming consoles. Loadouts are account and console settings that will enforce your content and access restrictions for each console, such as what you want to allow when it comes to games and app ratings, text and voice communication, and online gaming. CoPlay XM then works with your loadouts so you can control clearing messaging, resetting friends lists, adding or removing games and apps from your consoles, and even changing voice and communication settings. You can also create profiles that will reset the things important to your hospital at the click of a button. This means you can have a different profile for your units or exceptions for older patients. We are also happy to discuss EMR integration, so when a patient discharges, CoPlay XM automatically resets the games, apps, friends lists, and clears any streaming accounts and messages that are left on the console. This provides your patients a consistent experience every time that they're admitted into a room. Though our goal at CoPlay is to provide every patient an opportunity to play with friends and family while hospitalized, CoPlay XM is designed to help gaming programs of all sizes. We want to help empower hospitals to take control of their gaming programs and give patients the best experience possible. Please visit CoPlay.io to learn.
So that is our fancy little launch trailer. We launched just last year, at the end of last year. We've been piloting with primary children's, but this is now, we now have 3 hospitals using this, and we also have like a e-cafe that's also using it right now, that's piloting it. How do I possibly we get to we're just gonna watch this again, guys. Oh, here we go. Okay, cool. So this is actually probably a little bit surprising, but gaming is a huge industry. So 187 points. It's surprising just how big it is. So $187.7 billion a year industry. So for reference, the box office, movies, the $77 billion a year industry, and music streaming is a $26.2 billion a year industry. So gaming is bigger than both of those combined. That's pretty wild. About half of that is, but the other half is and stuff like that. So it's actually like weirdly a huge market. And the signals look good. So gamification and healthcare is up 20% from 2022, 2023. And patient engagement technology is also up about 18%. So it's growing. There's a need for it. People want it. This kind of things. These are, again, signals, maybe not exactly. We have a niche, so it's not exactly addressing the niche, but it's kind of giving you the environment that we're working in. Hello. Wow. I have not been talking into it at all. Sorry, guys. So our primary market is pediatric and general hospitals. There's about 6,100 in the U.S. About 250 of those are children's hospitals. We also obviously want to go after universities, hotels. Someone actually here gave us the idea of like prisons, which is kind of cool. And yeah, maybe comic book stores, anywhere where you're going to have like, a bunch of devices. So yeah, I started volunteering 2019. 2023 is when we decided like we really should do something about this because no one else can provide what Primaries is providing without it. So we built it, launched it at the end of last year. This year, we're gathering a lot of feedback, addressing any concerns that people have. And we are hoping to get a bunch of pilots and ideally in the next year or so scale up and do that without having to freak out. Our business model is just $3 per account or device. with the 50-seat minimum. So anybody that comes on board at the lowest tier is $150 a month. We do optional setup stuff for them as well. What's that? Definitely the hospital. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So yeah, right now we're at about $18,000 for ARR. We're hoping for 40,000 by the end of the year. Yeah, we have 250 children's hospitals to go after, and we are in with a couple of them. The exciting thing is people that see that they can do this now want it. It's not that they didn't want to do this for their kids, it's that they couldn't. So now that like word is getting out that it's possible, like everyone is jumping on board. We just started a pilot with the largest children's hospital in the US, so Dallas Children's, which we're really excited about. So that could be a really big deal for us. Oh, yeah, got ahead of myself. And there's no one else doing this. We have like literally no competitors. It's crazy. I mean, it is a niche, but like just nobody's addressing this problem. And the bigger thing is that like any of these entertainment services are really just meant to be B2C, like Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix, like any kind of subscription service is not really set up in a way that enterprises can go and get a bunch of these accounts and use them. And so we're actually seeing a lot of interest in that, and like maybe like a small pivot in that direction where we can manage that, because we've got that all figured out. We're kind of like subject matter experts at this point. So it's me and my buddy Braxton. We're the ones doing it. We met volunteering at Primaries. I'm on the software engineering side and the product design side. He's kind of on the business development and also product design. He's got his, he works at actually Primary Children's right now, so he's got his really good finger on the pulse of the problems that they have trying to stand stuff like this up. And between the two of us, we have 12 years working with children's hospitals. So it sounds silly. I'm actually not much of a gamer at all myself, but for these kids, it can be like a really big deal for them. You can be stuck in a hospital room for months at a time at a kid, and if you're immunocompromised, that means you can't even really hang out with anybody. So like that's terrible. And there is a power that comes in being able to just interact with other people. So we believe in the transformative power of play, and we want to help bring that to as many children's hospitals as we can. Our vision is a gaming console in the room of every kid's patient room that wants one, right? If they don't have one, it's because someone somewhere decided not to do it. We want to enable that to happen. So I think Rob usually asks, like, what is the, maybe I'll preempt you.
All good.
So we do have a couple asks, actually. So we are working really hard to get an official partnership with Microsoft. We're registered developers. We're using like all of their APIs and everything, but like they are this black box that we cannot infiltrate. It's crazy. We want to get like a cheerleader in there that can really advocate for us. So if anybody has any connections at all, even if it's like your uncle's brother's cousin or something, I think makes it your cousin too, but we'll take anything. Like we're really trying to attack that. With this pivot towards managing subscriptions and payments, we do have some questions about how that works in a tax situation where hospitals give us money and we hold it in escrow. Probably looks a lot like income when it's not. So I talked with Brian from Now CFO, but if there's anybody willing to talk to us about that, that'd be really useful. And then we have thought about raising money, but we don't really know how to determine our valuation. So if anybody has any thoughts or experience with that, that would be awesome. And anybody who might be willing to give us money, if you know them, please introduce us. I have a lot of asks. But.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, I see lots of people anxious to ask questions, so let's give Brady a big round of applause.
Two things, and we can certainly talk about it later on. When it comes to being able to have an advocate, you need to be able to have an 800-pound gorilla. Vance Checketts is one of the most respected executives here in Utah. He's now also the CEO of Oticon, which works with those on the spectrum. If you had somebody like that, he has people in Microsoft that are in his speed dial.
Okay.
So let's talk about that. Number two, when it comes to education, I didn't say anything here for like K through 12 or e-gaming, because this is perfect for what like the Utah Department of Transportation and also what's called Success in Education is currently doing. Because this obviously doesn't have to be in the same room. It could be a cluster. So doing a reach out to SEI, as well as tying into Lynn Yoakum, who runs the e-gaming for all of the K through 12 for the country, for the state, would be good tie-ins. Great idea. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
7, so I'm tracking my way around. I have to put them back
Right.
up to everybody. Yeah.
So first, I'll start with Microsoft. Have you looked into their startup program? So Microsoft for Startups.
Yeah, so that, as I understand, is more along their like Azure services and credits, right?
Yes, but it's also a signal. It's we're dedicated to working in your ecosystem. That's a good place to get started. I do have a contact who's in charge of their global education, and I'll talk to her and see what she can do to help.
What was her name, if you don't mind me asking?
Serena Sachs Mandel.
Serena. Thank you.
And then for hospitals, my aunt is in leadership at Boston Children's Hospital, so reach out to me. I will put you in touch.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
One-stop shop.
Yeah, and I actually still have.
You relate to the game.
So you've got it set up so you can wipe the account. Is there a way where the kid can load their own account onto the Xbox and run with their Netflix, HBO, and everything?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Right now, everything that we're doing, I would say, is through the front door with like the APIs that we're using to do this kind of stuff. There is a way to do that,
Okay.
but it's through the back door. Like as in it's
So
like,
when you're tied in with Microsoft.
exactly.
Okay.
And that's
Because if you could do that and I could go to an Airbnb and log in and everything of my accounts populates, I can't tell you how many, like that would just save so much time and effort, and then be able to wipe it at the end. You're onto something big.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, we could do it, but it's like if they saw that we're doing it the way that we're doing it, they probably wouldn't be stoked about it. But thank you.
So on the accounting and fundraising stuff, let's talk. I can, maybe the now CFO folks can help with accounting stuff, but also happy to give you any guidance on that. Double click on what he just mentioned. My thought was more so for like what you'd think like longer term rentals, not like the Airbnb that's a weekend thing, but the folks that are staying for a month or something. It's more so people logging into their accounts and then leaving and then forgetting to log out, and the only way they can actually do that is they got to reset their password. So, it would be great if it could preload, but I think a step closer would be just like something that someone from VRBO could pay $5-10 a month, and it just resets certain accounts that aren't included in the VRBO or Airbnb that's a long-term rental. Like it's kind of like a risk, because if somebody goes on and then orders a movie or something, if you don't have controls on it, it's like, all right, who's paying for that? And those issues do come up. Not the biggest thing, but I think it's just making that experience for the owners of the property that much easier.
Yeah, that's a good point. We've obviously been aware of this issue, but it's coming clear to me that it's like, yeah, this could be a big feature. Thank you, guys.
Staying in the healthcare industry, two things. One, have you ever thought about doing a study about the length of stay for kids that are happy because they're being able to play the games versus a hospital that doesn't? Because in the healthcare industry, they want numbers. They want to know, how does this benefit me? And then the other thing is, I would talk to insurance companies, because see if you can get reimbursed. Not you, the hospitals. All they care about is money. And if you can get the insurance companies to reimburse the hospitals as this being some type of care, then it would be every children's hospital in the country would take it tomorrow if they knew they could get reimbursed.
It's interesting. We actually, funding doesn't seem to be an issue for the hospitals in terms of getting the devices. It's a very sympathetic cause, right? And there's a lot of people donating. So the bottleneck has been that they just haven't been able to manage them. But that is a good point. Maybe that's the way to look into it. Sorry, there's.
I'm going to stand and use a booming voice today. So one of the things I would love to talk about offline is that the U.S. military currently in gaming in other source is $100 million revenue to the DoD. We're on ships. We're bored to death on ships. And so once you hit Liberty Port or anything like that for the DoD, for the commander to go clean, swipe, huge. So it can be addressed for educational online systems, gaming, movie, all that stuff. And for us to be able to go, you're done, and clean that slate, huge for the DoD.
That is not something I'd ever thought. Thanks, Oz.
Okay, Phil's got one.
Couple of quick comments. First thing is, I would think carefully before you reach out to Microsoft timing-wise, because they're a big company. This is a very attractive idea for them. Everything about it is beautiful, and they can squash you. They can work around you over a weekend and have this thing deployed on their own. So I would think, if it was me, I'd be thinking very careful about my timing on that. And that goes to the second thing. I would look how to get this thing out there as quickly as I can, because the faster you have adoption, the more someone's going to want to acquire a partner, as opposed to just say, we're just going to build our own. We've got all our own hooks, so we'll just build our own and launch our own thing. So give it away for free, for whatever, 6 months or whatever it is, or figure out a way to get them to go buy the Xboxes or get them donated. But I would make adoption super easy, because it's not going to cost you very much. And with the knowledge that after 90 days or something, they have to start paying, because once it's in there, they're not gonna unhook it, and your pricing is very reasonable.
Thank you. Yeah, trust me, that keeps me up at night that Microsoft would just turn around and copy this. We're actually talking to somebody at Microsoft that went like dark on us, and we're like, that was weird, but we beat them to market. So we want them in our court, but screw those guys.
Yeah. You wouldn't be the first person that had their stuff stolen and used. This is patentable, potentially, depending on how you're doing it, the system and approaches.
Yeah, I've wondered, because, we're using their APIs, right? So it's like, can we patent it? I don't know.
The system, potentially. Yeah. In the US, you have the 1 year grace period. In foreign markets, you don't.
Okay, that's good to know.
The SBDC is hosting a patent and trademark class pretty soon.
SBDC?
Small Business Development Center.
Okay.
And everybody should take that if they haven't. It's
Is that
amazing.
a Slick?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not great, though, so it's okay.
Following up on the question about research, 2 bits. Huntsman Mental Health is doing an awful lot of research on mental health, and if you can tie the research into how doing this decreases the patient stay in the hospital, then you get the stuff that comes back to the money and the insurance companies. And there is one person who's doing all that research up there, and I have his name, half of his name in my brain, and I can get the other half.
Yeah, that's in another life, actually, CoPlay started out as like a accessibility framework for virtual reality headsets for kids with disabilities. So we actually, the studies exist, and it is, play and games absolutely helps recovery with children. So I might just have to dig those back up.
Really, really love the slides. Can tell you did your research.
Thanks.
Curious about the voice that was on the video. That was a little creepy to me. Just a little.
Was it really?
Yeah, the voice made me uncomfortable.
You know what? That's funny. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Nah,
not offended.
For sure it wasn't your voice. It made me a little uncomfortable.
If that was my voice, it would be weird, because I would have had to like change it to sound like that.
As far as the research and the things that's being done already, the study is already done. They've been doing it for the last 20 or 30 years about how happy people are, people that have belief, how they get better much faster. They heal like 86% something, whatever, faster. The research is available already, but being able to put that together with the fact that you're already in a few hospitals creating that case study for that $100, $150, your ability to go out and get other adopters is going to be so much easier. You've done it already. Now that initial hurdle of, oh, it's going to be really hard to wipe, to protect, to hold that information safely, you've done it. So it's definitely worth that $150, $200 to do it. On the side of getting bigger, specifically Furnished Finder. Wouldn't go the Airbnb route, but Furnished Finder is what travel nurses or travel electricians use. They have the high income already, and they're looking for places that they can stay for a few months at a time that already have furniture, so they don't have to figure it out.
Okay. Awesome. Hey, thank you.
I do think there's a few more questions, but we are already running a little long. So if you have more questions, Brady, can you stick around to
Yeah, absolutely.
talk with folks?
Also, Brady at CoPlay.io. You can email me if there's anything. So, yeah. Hey,
All right.
thanks, guys.
Yeah. Well, Brady, you get your own very own magic mug today. So, you know, like what I like to say, because you've been a regular, but magical because it keeps hot things hot and cold things cold. Pretty magical by itself. But sometimes the magic is asking for help, which is sometimes the hardest. You had some good asks. Which one would move the needle the most, you think? Or how can this community make a difference?
Geez. We would like to expand quicker than we are. So funding would be nice. You guys know anybody? Man.
Looking for equity funding? How much? Do you have a sense of your capital stack? Like what?
We're open-minded. All of that.
Don't be. We can talk, but.
Which is to say, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. For forecasting and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, these are the biggest things. Like, if anybody can move the needle on any of these things, that would be huge. We're really excited about the payments and subscription management thing because it takes all of those huge markets and binds them together, and we access that. So, yes, please, if anybody has like big stuff with this, come talk to me.
Awesome. And if you didn't get a chance or you have a follow-up, please talk to Brady and stick around after. Let's give Brady one more big round of applause.